Hi everybody, it's Nick. I don't know if you can see behind me, but maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm not sure I'm showing it so well, but I'm still in the trenches, so to speak. The rain's coming back in today and the water table is still incredibly high, so we're still at a high risk of flooding, although I've got a very innovative and very creative system put in place with the sump pump, which I'm hoping will make life easier. But one of the things that it's really made me think about this week is, really when it comes down to it, we've kind of got two choices in life, and that's we either live it from a place of fear, or we live it from a place of love. And this is a week now, we've been at flood risk. It's 6 days since I had the horrendous day, although great day, with all of my children helping us stop flooding. And pretty much every day I've been here either getting rid of water or doing something to stop the water coming in. And it's been absolutely exhausting. And the reason it's been so exhausting is because I'm scared. I've been scared all of the time. I'm absolutely petrified of flooding because I know what it means. I've been through it before. The insurance doesn't cover it. It's horrible. It smells. The list could go on. And it's my home, which just means so much to me. But this morning I got up and I just thought I just don't want to be scared anymore, because the thing about fear is that it stifles you and it stops your creativity and it stops everything flowing, and it's exhausting. It's so exhausting, and it's a really closed and isolated way to be. And I've noticed, over the last few days, I've hardly worked. I've had no inspiration to really write at all. It's like everything's closed down in my brain because I'm coming from a place of fear. And today, something's really clicked for me, which is there's no point being scared. Yes, practically I have to do what I can do. I've reached out for help. I've taken some good advice, and we've pretty much done as much as there is that can be done. If we're now going to flood, we're going to flood. And you know what? I have to trust myself, and I have to trust that I will be able to manage that, and we will be okay. As Gary Vee would say, actually it's not the end of the world because nobody's died today. And there is something actually in that perspective. Because it also then made me think about this is a much bigger metaphor for life, and maybe this is the universe teaching me some lessons. And they do say that it's in the challenging times when we learn our lessons. It's that if we live our life through fear, then we become very isolated and closed down. And it's a little bit like the thing that springs to my mind is when we see rocks in the sea, and the sea is swirling, okay, and the sea is gonna move and gonna go. The water's gonna go where it wants, no matter what the rocks do. And the rocks just stand there. They just stand there on their own. Well, rocks don't stand; they're not humane, but you get what I'm saying. But the sea keeps on moving, and that for me kind of sums up fear and love. So the fear is the rock because it's just not going anywhere, is it? It's just stuck there, and it's stuck on its own. It's not connected to anybody else. Whereas the sea is moving, and it's although it's a softer, you would look at it and you would go, it's softer, and it's a more beautiful thing to see. It's actually more powerful, and it's moving on, and it's getting itself to wherever it wants to get to. And for me, that's a great analogy for fear and love. And when I look back, I think it's really interesting that, as a small child, I definitely came from a place of love. Everything was doable. I wasn't afraid. I would just give things a go. I would just, live in my land of make-believe, and nothing was insurmountable, and life was pretty great in a lot of ways. And then, particularly I think when I started secondary school, and I suspect this is happening a lot, I have teenage children, so it's a big part of my life, is competition creeps in, and the narrative creeps in around why it's really important that you pass your exams, otherwise your life over. And then once you have passed your exams, it's really important that you get the best possible degree, or you do a really good course in whatever it is, because it's really difficult to get a job. And once you get a job, then you need to hang on to that job because jobs are really difficult to come by. And the whole narrative is all based on fear. It's all about a fear of not having something, or something not going right. We have no idea how life's going to pan out. We have no idea what's going to go wrong and right. The best laid plans can so often completely stuff us up. And we lose that ability to come from a place of love and trust. And I think it's a real shame. And I do. And I guess I'm just trying to look at this. I'm always trying to look at the situations I'm in because, I really do want to be able to share, and I really want to be able to help other people. But if you want to be a teacher, I think you've got to be a great student too. And that's why I'm always looking at what's happening to me on a daily basis and going, what's really going on here? What can I learn from this? How can I be my best self? How can I cope with this in the best way possible? What is this world trying to tell me? And definitely for me right now, I'm being told there's just no point being scared. There's just no point being full of fear, because it is not going to change whatever the outcome is. The work that me and all of the people that have helped me have done may well change the outcomes. It's been practical, it's been doable, and actually some of it has just been just so creative and innovative, because the people who are helping me, they're not scared. They're just looking at the problem and going, what can we do? But there's a much bigger principle here to apply to life, and you can see it just in the fact that my creativity around writing is completely dried up this week, because I've been stifled by fear, and I don't want to be stifled anymore. I want to come from a place of love. That's my choice, and I want to learn, and I want to be able to embrace life. And embracing life means you've got to embrace the good and the bad bits. It's not always going to be plain sailing. I am so blessed on so many levels. As Gary Vee would say, nobody has died today, and that's where I am. And I may or may not flood, but I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to trust that whatever happens, we will be able to deal with it, and I'm not going to let that rhetoric and that negative narrative that we hear so much of, that we grow up with, carry on in my head. It's not carrying on in my head. And that's what I wanted to share today, just in terms of going, well, what am I learning? Well, I'll tell you what I'm learning right now is that it's pretty mucky work digging out trenches and putting sump pumps in. There's some really very special people in the world that I'm incredibly grateful to have helped me, and that fear's not going to get me anywhere. It's just stifling me, it's closing me down, and that's not how I want to live my life. And I hope that's really of help to somebody, and I hope everybody else is staying dry and just having a fantastic week. Take care, bye.